I don't know, so I'm gonna just give you a little bit of a rundown of what I did this semester. I basically took a class on free speech, and for my final project, it's pretty much got to be anything related to free speech.
Okay.
And, it had no boundaries here, sort of ish. And so my first topic of discussion regarding free speech is sexual harassment and false allegations.
Okay.
And the reason why I bring this up, it's not to discourage people from saying or speaking out from what happened, because I think if you have been sexually assaulted, harassed, whatever the case may be, I encourage you to speak up actually. But I'm talking about the people who do it just to ruin somebody's life, somebody who maybe got a little bit of fame, some money, and you're trying to target that. And we've seen that happen a lot before in the past.
Yeah, many athletes. Um, the always there's always a jump the gun scenario in that. That could be a point of contention. You know,
Yeah.
who should we assume? Um, you know, the victim is telling the truth,
Mm.
or you know,
That's why I think it's a little bit of a difficult scenario, because when it comes up like that, most of the time it's you're guilty until proven innocent. But how, like, that time frame where you're guilty till you're proven innocent, it can ruin your life. If you are a sports player, you can, lose your sponsorships. You can get cut from the team. So many things can happen to you within that time period that you're innocent, but you've been labeled as guilty. And we've seen this before. We've seen this with Benjamin Mendy, who plays for Manchester City. We go way back when. Robinho, Man City as well.
sorry.
A little bit of a trend. We got, who else was it? Who else happened to Danny Alves?
Notable figure Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bryant. That's
Kobe Bryant had
He
a
did
rape
it.
case.
He did it.
Charges ended up being dropped.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, that's true.
Cristiano Ronaldo. That happened to him back in 2009, I want to say it was.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he's even alive in the United States. I don't know if he's been proven innocent or guilty. But you saw the toll that's taken on him as a person. I mean, his career is a stellar career, no doubt.
I think like with this certain scenarios, it's like a special type of crime, right? Because even the damage is done without there being a guilty verdict. Even if they're innocent at the end of the day and the public knows it, they have lost too much money, reputation. They can never go back.
Their life never be the same.
Never.
But what really bothers me with that is that the people who threw these false allegations, they get to walk away free. And this has always been sort of a talking point that, once you're, found that the person's been innocent, what should happen to the person who threw that allegation towards you? A lot of the time, nothing. And so where do we draw that line? Because technically, it is within their right to speak up, but if it's wrong, that's just straight defamation, slander a person or libel.
I mean, they don't. I would say they get a slap on the wrist, but I don't think they do. It's really a shame. 'Cause at the end of the day, those people are the reason why people may not believe the actual victims. That's not even factoring in the damage that they've done to the person they've accused, right? Person that they've accused, they, in sports, we look up to them for our role models, people who try to impersonate, right? And then once you see that image crumble because of a false accusation, that could really put down someone on their motivation, right?
Yeah, 100%. And it's not only just sports. We know that, but a lot of the time that happens in sports, they get the media attention. You know what I mean? There's been a case here at Hunter where this actually happened. I'm not going to personal details about the person, but it came out that 17 girls came out and they spoke up against him. And at the end of the day, nothing was ever proved. And what ends up happening?
I mean, in a college setting, you just have to imagine the level of scrutiny he has faced,
Mm,
right? People in college already struggle
mm,
to find a social circle
mm.
and make friends, and then you add on top to like an heinous accusation like that.
Yeah, because
I don't know
we
how
knew
someone
of
would come
him.
from
We
that.
knew of him, but
Yeah,
we never knew him personally. We
yeah.
never knew him personally. But how did I can tell you how my perspective on him shifted after those came out. Um, how did your dynamic on that shift on that specific person?
Um, I was in the gray area, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I wasn't really too close to him,
Mm-hmm.
or, um, you know, but I knew of him,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it's hard to judge from that, from just like a outside perspective,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't know any of the morals of, you don't know the victim or really the accused. And at that point, it's like, do I believe, do I believe the the possible victim
Mm-hmm.
or the possible rapist,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, I think that also sort of brings up to my next point. Thanks so much. Thanks so much. I think that brings up to the next point. In that situation, who should you believe? It's a difficult one because you never want to discredit somebody from speaking up. Because at the end of the day, if you discredit somebody from speaking up, that's gonna stop it from happening. It's gonna stop somebody else from speaking up. And I think it's a really big problem that we need to tackle, and we need to low key find a solution about this. No,
Um, well, I think it's easier said than done, right?
100%. No doubt about it. It's easier said than done.
Um, when we talk about ethics, on Hunter, they actually make you attend ethics class.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Profi.
Profit, yeah.
Um, yeah, but
Good human, that guy.
yeah,
Good human, that guy.
but even in ethics, they don't discuss these types of
They
things.
don't. They
They
don't.
just they tell you, oh, what's the worst thing you could do ethically?
Yeah, ethically, and I think the answer for that was
Incest,
incest, wasn't it?
right?
Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah, it's
incest.
incest.
Uh,
It's
I don't really know because I remember sitting in that class and we threw up rape, we threw up murder, we threw up rape, we threw up murder sitting in that class, but he really thought incest was the worst thing one could do, when realistically, I mean, there's a lot more worse crimes than that.
that is true. I mean, it's each his own,
Yeah,
right?
100%. I mean, everybody has their own
And
preference.
I think it was just shocking to us because we're, we have our own different, um, how to say it, level of morality, right? So
Yeah.
we see rape as the worst thing you could do,
Yeah.
which I still think it is.
I totally agree with you as well. Rape, murder, it kind of falls under
Yeah,
that same
yeah.
bracket.
I would say I would put rape worse than more murder, in my
You think
opinion.
so?
Yeah,
Okay.
but you know, it's like something so serious.
Hmm.
Who's there? Who's gonna be the one to judge who's wrong or right and what we should do to them?
Yeah,
Like,
I guess that sort of falls on as a society. Where do we draw that line? Where does that sort of fall? No, like who gauges that? Who measures that? How did we come to as a collective to sort of say this is the worst thing? This is
that like court of public opinion, it's always shifting, right?
yeah,
So maybe for someone like Profi,
yeah,
he's an older gentleman
yeah,
or whatever he may identify as. Um,
yeah.
you
Right,
know, his he might grew up in a time where
right.
um, incest was generally seen like the worst thing, right?
Hmm.
I think we grew up in different eras
Yeah.
where Gen Zers we recognize people's right to self-choice. Um,
I was taking an exam yesterday, and one of the things that I noticed was back then, 1960 versus 2004, right? When voting for a presidential candidate or election, there's a lot of problems that sort of went away. For example, we're a lot more lenient on abortion now. Things do shift, and that's sort of we still got to go back to that whole sort of false accusation talk. You know, this isn't even just I go out to like, okay, for example, Greenwood, right?
Right.
Um, there's video evidence of that. I mean,
Was it video
no,
or
it was
audio?
audio evidence. We heard the audio evidence. I think he said something like in a British accent, "Put your fucking legs up." You know what I
Right.
mean? Nobody knows what was going
Nobody
on.
knows, right?
Nobody knows, but we heard it. And this, listen, he was playing for arguably one of the biggest clubs in the world. You know, and that hit media, and his girlfriend at the time, I'm not sure if they're together, posted clips of her bleeding, etc.
Yeah.
And Manchester United's approach to that was to fully remove him from the team. Right? You know what I mean? And they excluded him. They were like, he's not playing with us, regardless to know what happened.
But see, that's the thing. Like that sort of aids in the audience's perception of that. They're thinking, oh, because
There was no investigation.
exactly.
There was no
Normally,
investigation.
you'd be like, he must have did something to get punished.
Yeah.
But in these types of scenarios, they do it preemptively.
Mm-hmm.
Which is that right?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Oh, because you see what happened with Mason Greenwood is, although he was left out of the United squad, he plays in Spain now. He plays in Spain, and the people in Spain, they don't have a problem with what came out and what happened.
Well, they still use it against him.
Rival fans. But that really goes. It follows you everywhere. It follows you everywhere, and even though Manchester United, they told him, you're not playing for this club anymore, they still want to make a profit off him. So we're like, you're morally taking him off of the team for an accusation that we don't know is true. But then at the same time, you are trying to make a profit off of somebody that you kicked off the team for correct morals. Like, where now are your morals in the right place?
Yeah, and the whole, I think the weirdest thing about the Greenwood situation was the fact that he's still with his with his girlfriend.
Yeah, and I can't judge personally. I mean, you never really know what happened. I don't know the correct term of it, but it's sort of like equivalent to Stockholm syndrome.
Okay. I mean, but that's if anything happens.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. I mean, obviously though, when you are a person of power, when I mean power, you hold more money over somebody, it may be a little bit difficult to leave said person. He's playing for Manchester United. Those salaries aren't low. How old was he? 20 years old, 18 years old at the time? I don't even know.
I would agree in most scenarios, but in this case, the mother already had a child with him.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So she would have had a source of income.
Yeah.
From him anyway.
Yeah.
For child support.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not here to solve the case. I'm not here to solve the case. That's bring it up. The accusations, the morals of Manchester United, how they handled that, how it fall into Spain. I mean, I think one person that really had it heavy was Benjamin Mendy.
Oh, that's true.
Benjamin Mendy had it heavy.
He went from
World Cup winner,
champion,
Premier League winner. Yeah.
I think they got to semifinals with Monaco, right?
Yeah, 100%. 50 million he went for.
Yeah.
50 million.
Big superstar on the rise, and then from out of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
You hear about this charge of multiple women.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, he walked free. They found nothing.
That's what I'm saying.
They found nothing. But look, since that's happened, while he was being convicted, Manchester City withheld his wages. They withheld his wages. He's actually trying to go sue them now for the money that they held from him. Mind you, Manchester City, you're making like $250K a week. He still can't get access to the first team. He can't get access to the first team. He hasn't played. He's still under contract, I think.
I think he plays for a smaller club now.
Maybe,
right?
but that goes to show you were at the pinnacle of football. You were at the top. You were at the top. Manchester City, they're about a 4-time Premier League champion. 4 times. They've won a Champions League last year. I mean, listen, we've seen cases like this before. Your life and career sort of ruined. I mean, OJ, for example. Rest in peace, OJ. Rest in peace.
O.J. Simpson.
We don't know if he actually killed his wife, but the glove didn't fit. And I'm not here to defend these people. I'm just speaking on a sort of a neutral setting because I don't know if he said I don't know what came out, but it just goes to show that it's ruined.
Just the only person I could think of that bounced back from it was Kobe Bryant, right?
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant, prime of his career.
Yeah.
I think what was it, 2003?
I don't know. I'm not.
I think it happened in 2003 in Colorado.
Yeah.
We still talk about his legacy, his mob mentality.
Well,
But that almost all went away, right?
yeah.
Just charges were dropped, right?
Good job.
And I think in this country specifically,
Yeah.
um, it's better in terms of the legal system,
Yeah.
right? And they have a better due process.
Yeah.
But
One
and
could argue it's a little. It's better than foreign countries, but
yeah, but at the end of the day, nobody stops the court of public opinion,
yeah,
right?
100%. For public opinion, I mean, listen, if you have the public opinion, I think you're more or less gonna be okay. But I want to talk about the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard situation.
Mm.
Listen, and what happened with Johnny Depp? I think he lost a lot of deals. I think he was on. I think Dior was the one that kept him.
Yeah,
I
he
think
lost
Dior
his
was the one-
Pirate Caribbean
Yeah.
deal. I forgot how much money that was a lot of money.
A lot of people switched up on him, but Dior kept him, so I think that's pretty cool from Dior. And he was found innocent. I think what was it? Was it a domestic abuse case?
It was weird, man. She said
And it went on for weeks, man.
it was televised to the public, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like he was trying to protect his life.
How so?
I mean, he gets found guilty. We're just watching it.
Yeah.
He doesn't get found guilty. We're just watching.
Correct.
For us, it's like it's entertaining,
Yeah.
right? But it's not really fair to actual victims.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree.
Two to him
Yeah.
either, right? I feel like people didn't take it as serious. They started making memes about it, but they didn't really recognize the core of the issue,
Yeah.
right?
I think it's a lot deeper than
Then people see it, right?
It's weird. It's
You just remember the funny moments. Oh, she shit on his bed.
yeah. I mean, listen, there's a lot of details in that case that you know I'm not gonna get into. But the media runs a lot of narratives, which is why it's sort of you run the.
Now I have a question for you.
What's up? Ask me.
Would you rather the audience build up their own case about it and dig into their own evidence, or would you rather the public court of opinion be swayed completely by a verdict?
When you say audience, what do you refer to? Like me as a
Yeah,
like you want me to
the
go
general
online
public,
and do my own research? Or?
yeah, or you want there to be a court case and whatever verdict is reached.
I mean, listen. I think if you reach a verdict, I think you can stick with the verdict. But if you really know that you didn't do it or you're not proud of the outcome that happened, I think you can always, try to do more research or go further into detail. But I mean, I think a verdict is always the right call. No?
I mean, we say that, but then you look at O.J. Simpson again.
Yeah, that is true.
I think more people say that he did it.
Yeah, and that is true. The people do say that, but again, like they don't have the evidence to prove
Rest in peace, O.J. though.
Yeah, 100%, man. Legend of the game, man. It's crazy, but what was it? 78 white Ford Bronco.
Yeah,
man. Okay. Actually, we're gonna continue with allegations and accusations and continuing. We watched Quiet on Set. Did you watch Quiet on Set, the Nickelodeon one?
Is it about Dan Schneider?
Dan Schneider and co. Yeah. A lot of listen, they didn't come out and stick directly that Dan Schneider was a pedophile. They didn't come out directly and state that, but they were really hinting towards it. I mean, listen, there was people that there was people on the set that were pedophiles.
Did Dan Schneider come out and say anything about it?
Yeah, he came out and he did his own podcast sort of thing, and he was basically offering apologies to the victims, but not from him, from what he put, from what having pedophiles on set, or clearing his name in terms of the wage gap, etc. But I do know that I read somewhere that he wanted to sue Quiet on Set for, I think it was defamation and make him seem like a pedophile. And they didn't come out directly in the discussion to say that he was a pedophile. But I mean, they really tried to paint that narrative.
I didn't watch it, but I've heard about it.
Yeah.
I know I associate Dan Schneider with it.
Yeah,
So
that's really.
I guess he does have a reasonable case if what they say about him is not true,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, like I said, they didn't say anything about him being a pedophile in general. That's sort of the point I'm trying to make here.
So what did they? What was the documentary about?
The documentary was that the set included pedophiles and that children on set were actually abused. It was that he had pedophiles on set, not that he was a pedophile himself. And a lot of things can be fabricated. Screenshots can be edited, Photoshop, and especially now we're going into sort of an era where
AI, right?
yeah, that's going into, we're going to territory we don't really know what's gonna happen, and you've seen, you can not you can make videos, random videos, right? You can make random videos. You can generate voice confessions. You can do whatever now with AI.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw,
Yeah,
like, leading up to the Super Bowl,
yeah. What happened?
on Twitter,
Yeah.
many uh, digital images of Taylor Swift came out.
Yes, I've heard about that.
Yeah,
I've heard
and
about that.
we got escalated to the White House.
Yeah, what's his name? Twitter user
Um,
ZVBEAR Zubair.
Zubair, yeah,
Yeah,
Zubair, yeah.
Zubair. He's sort of become a little bit of a celebrity because of that.
Yeah, I mean,
Listen,
he's a, I don't know how, does that count as free speech? What do you think? When it infringes on someone else's personal image, what are your thoughts on that?
theoretically, he did nothing wrong. He created, like we've seen, like, there's deep fakes. There's deep fakes.
Right.
Is
But
that
that is the AI, I guess.
yeah? Is that illegal?
I'm not sure, but this was like the first case where
Yeah.
we've seen it get escalated that quickly, right?
Yeah, because I mean, listen, it's that's not really.
But that's only because it happened with Taylor Swift.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's my point. If it happened to anybody else, nobody would really care. Nobody would really care. If it happened to you, nobody's saying shit. That would probably spread that around and laugh at you, if anything. It's not really illegal because whatever website he used, I mean, they allowed him to do it. So if anything, is that why should we punish him and not the website?
Well, I don't think it would be fair to punish the
You
website,
can't punish
right?
the website.
Because they don't control what the
Exactly.
users
They're
do.
protected actually under Section 230.
Yeah. What is Section 230?
That they can't get sued because of what the users say on the website. Website's protected from whatever users say. And there was actually a topic of discussion of should the websites be more liable to that, because we've seen parents now, they were not abusing, but there was a court where they were talking to CEO of Facebook, CEO of Twitter, CEO of TikTok, CEO of whatever, social media in general, Snapchat, and they were talking about how their kids have killed themselves because of what was said on the internet, and they want to be held more liable. They want to hold social media companies more liable because of that. You shouldn't. I think that really hinders your free speech.
I would agree.
I think you
But
sort of
there-
have that. You should have the opportunity to say whatever you want. I mean, listen, whatever you say in person is technically equivalent to what you say online, or whatever you say online is equivalent to what you say in person. But you can hide behind a screen or
That's
behind a
true.
different picture online.
Do you think it's a countermeasure they could probably use as some type of age verification?
You could.
Because, you know, I'm usually a supporter of free speech.
Yeah.
You can't really muffle someone
Yeah.
just because they say something you don't like, or it may hurt your feelings,
Yeah.
especially in today's age, right?
A lot of things hurt. A
A
lot
lot
of
of
people's
things,
feelings.
yeah.
I think we're talking about this in class of what's considered fighting words, because if you harass somebody or you
Like
say something
verbally?
yeah,
Okay.
it's to a point where you can't do it unless you it's not you're not violating free speech unless you're using fighting words, but it's sort of like what you consider fighting words. There's not really a sort of way to measure that.
Well, I think that type of argument gets shut down by the hypocrisy that you see in it, right? If these fighting words, generally, well, we may agree to be fighting words, are done from a superior, like, ethical standpoint, and they're talking down on someone, nobody will say that they're wrong,
Like
right?
what? Give me an example.
Like, for example,
Yeah.
we have a lot of migrants
Yeah.
coming into New York City,
Yeah.
right? And if someone says, shut those borders down,
No.
we don't want any more coming in,
Yeah.
and then another person comes and says more offensive things personally about the guy who just said that.
No.
Nobody would really bat an eye at that person because they agree with him morally, right?
Yeah.
They want
Okay.
to help
I
people.
see what you're saying. So you don't. You're basically saying that it doesn't. People only care if free speech is being violated if their viewpoints being.
Propagated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Listen. Next time for a good discussion, right? I want to talk about player abuse in the arenas, online. Is that okay? Because I was watching the podcast the other day, Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart, and
Shout out to
shout out the
Russ.
Knicks, shout out the Knicks game.
On the podcast.
Yeah, we'll get them. We'll get them. Stay tuned for that. Um, but speaking of the NBA, who you got? Who you got?
Huh?
Who you got?
Come on, man. I'm a Knicks fan through and through.
Yeah, through thick and thin. I
Yeah.
got you. I see you. I see you. Moving past the sponsor though.
We're talking about the podcast.
Yeah, They were reading some of their DMs, and wow. And the thing is, it's actually over betting. Yeah, like if they mess up their parlay, the abuse that Jalen Brunson got, told him, kill yourself, kill your mother, kill your whole family.
Well, I think
Is that okay for
you
somebody
gotta
to
take that with a
say?
grain of salt, right? It's New Yorkers,
Okay. No, but that's the thing. If it's over a bet, it could be anywhere in the United States.
that is true. But nobody really bets on the Knicks except for New Yorkers. I don't.
I don't know.
see that.
Would you throw? I'm not saying talking money line. I'm
Do I
talking
think it's like justified, or is that the question?
about. Listen. For example, Kevin Durant's Twitter. Have you ever been on Kevin Durant's Twitter?
Well, which one? His burner or
No, but why does he have a burner? Why does he have a burner?
well, he wants to defend himself.
Exactly. That's sort of my point. He defends himself from what from what people are saying.
Well, if he has a right to have a burner, surely you could say that the fans have a right to abuse him. Well,
Abuse isn't the right word.
yeah, isn't the right one, but
Abuse isn't the
criticize.
right- criticize him.
Because at the end of the day, they're not, criticizing him based off his personal values.
Yeah. I mean, they kind of take it a little too far sometimes. They tell him,
Yeah, but because of his on-court behavior,
okay.
right?
Okay.
Um,
Euro 2020.
yeah.
20, whenever it happened.
Talk about that.
Euros 2020. So essentially, what happened was England playing Italy, and in the third minute, Luke Shaw scored a goal, and then later on in the second half, Bonucci scored. I think it was Bonucci, and he equalized 1-1. England and Italy went into penalties. It was Kane scored his penalty, Harry Maguire scored his penalty, two white players, and then it was
The
Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford, and Bukayo Saka.
who I think all three of them just got subbed on.
Yeah, no. Saka started, I believe. I think Marcus Rashford was subbed on.
Yeah.
Maybe Jadon Sancho.
No, Jadon Sancho definitely got subbed on.
Yeah, but I think Saka was starting. But the point is, they all three of them missed their penalty. All three of them were black, and then the abuse in their comments were just, it was disgusting, man. It was disgusting. And listen, this isn't you. Racism's been in the game for so long. Back in 2012, Mario Balotelli's iconic "Why Always Me," constantly being abused. I mean, it's really bad. And going back to the England thing, it's just like, dude, the comments were terrible. It was really.
They don't deserve any abuse, which I agree with. They don't deserve any racial abuse or any personal abuse. But there has to be a point where the audience could come out and criticize them.
Yeah, but where's that line? Where do you draw that line? Like I said, like you can speech and you can say whatever you want as long as you don't use fighting words.
One thing I'd like to sort of get us back on topic.
Yeah, 100%.
Thing about TikTok, right?
Yeah.
TikTok is, I think they voted to ban it.
Yeah.
In the United States. Citing, I think, a national threat.
Yeah.
They claim that China's selling their data. What is your?
I don't think there's
opinion
any
on
proof
that?
of that. I think there's no way to prove that they're actually selling our data. I think it's a little bit deeper than that. 'Cause think about it. I mean, Google sells your data. Nobody's banning Google. A lot of companies sell your data. They're not getting banned. Facebook definitely sells your data. They're okay. I think it's just America selling your data, so it's okay we're selling your data. But China selling your data, that's a big problem. But I don't think selling data is actually their main concern. I think it's just that.
Well, they think that if they know what Americans watch,
But
they, I
okay.
don't know how that
So,
goes.
so as a national
But
threat, do you think that I should grant China permission to use some of my data if I'm okay with it? Why does the United States have access?
they have to decide for
Well,
you.
yeah, why does the United States have to decide for me? I want to sell my data to China now. What?
That's a great question.
Now what?
Well,
I know.
I'm not the senator.
I know.
I see the United States argument, although I think it's a weak
I
argument.
think so. I think it's really weak.
Um,
A lot of companies sell your data.
I think personally that that whole that whole national threat
Yeah.
excuse is really just a cover for this change in I guess censorship, right? Because the
Yeah.
United States doesn't even have control of TikTok.
Yeah.
They can't regulate
Yeah.
what comes on your For You
Yeah.
page, what's trending.
Yeah.
Um, Meanwhile, if it's an American-owned company, they
Yeah.
do have
They
control.
do. Yeah. They want to ban it so they can fit their own narrative, basically.
That's right. I'm surprised that they haven't tried to fight this um, suit under the gauge of First Amendment, right?
Yeah. I think that's what TikTok wants to. They're gonna try to counter. They want to appeal that ban because they think that it violates American rights. I think so too.
But it's really ironic, right? Of you have on one side they're selling your data, they're trying to hurt Americans.
Yeah.
Um, and then on the other side, TikTok is using American ideals and values to defend themselves,
Yeah.
right?
Really inverted. But listen, man. We're gonna wrap it up here. I think we're gonna wrap it up here. I hope we've covered.
We covered.
I hope we've covered a decent. We covered a lot of topics. I mean, listen, a little bit of editing and maybe hopefully the audio came out good. Maybe I honestly think you should have recorded the audio differently on two different phones, but that's not the point.
Sorry.
The point is, I think we got enough. This was episode 1, probably our first and last.
No, I'm willing. I'm willing to continue. It is a it is a, it is a fun project in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm thoroughly enjoyed being your guest
Yeah,
here.
listen, Professor Bisbee, I really enjoyed his class. I mean, you're not a Baruch student, but I'll tell you, one of the greatest professors. You know, I mean, really learned a lot from his class. I think giving us freedom to sort of do whatever we want for the final project is great. A lot's not an exam, it's not a paper. I think it's really creative and great semester with you, professor. So